Tonight on To the Point. More than 1,000 needles and nearly 100,000 pounds of items removed from Camp Resolution, with residents still looking for places to stay. Tonight, how Sacramento's mayoral candidates say they plan to tackle the homeless crisis. Plus, breaking up an international scam. The arrest Sacramento detectives just made.
We've been tracking the heat, and it looks like it's going to hang on a little bit longer. How deep into the weekend we'll see near 100-degree temperatures.
And later, the home insurance crisis. Another insurance company stops writing fire policies in the state. But first, we start tonight with breaking news. Sacramento County deputies are investigating a homicide in Galt. This is a live look at the scene along Alta Mesa Road. Deputies tell us a woman was found dead at the scene, and a spokesperson says the suspect in the killing is possibly barricaded inside the area. We are told that the sheriff's office and SWAT are both on scene. It's not yet clear what led up to the incident, but we do have a crew there that are working to get you more information, and we'll bring it to you as we get it into our newsroom. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To the Point. I'm Alex Bell, and this November, Sacramento voters will choose the city's next mayor after many headlines surrounding the homelessness crisis and the removal of Camp Resolution. Tonight, both mayoral candidates speak with ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen about their plans to deal with the issues at hand.
Alex, Dr. Flo Kofer and Assemblymember Kevin McCarty are running for Sacramento mayor this November. Both mayoral candidates tell me homelessness will be their top priority if they're voted as the city's next mayor.
Ever since North Sacramento's Camp Resolution, a self-governing camp for the unhoused, was cleared out by the city on Monday.
It wasn't done thoughtfully and with a clear plan for how we were going to support a self-governing community.
Sacramento mayoral candidate Dr. Flo Kofer says there should have been a better plan for residents.
How we were going to make sure that it had the resources necessary, electricity and water and some of the key components to being able to make it healthy. And most importantly, and we've heard from some of the surrounding businesses and community members, how we were going to involve them in making sure this was successful.
The lease that allowed the camp to operate was terminated earlier this summer, and there were disagreements between the nonprofit Safe Ground Sacramento and the city.
This was a fatally flawed site, kind of a toxic location where they had some lawsuits going back and forth, and it wasn't a viable site.
Mayoral candidate Assemblymember Kevin McCarty believes ultimately there needs to be more places for people to go.
We need to have locations like Roseville Road or, abandoned city or state land where we can send people where they can either legally camp or be in tiny homes and get services.
In July, Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order to allow cities and counties to clear homeless encampments from public areas, following the Supreme Court's Grants Pass decision. But both candidates say there needs to be better solutions.
We can't have people camping blocking sidewalks next to schools, in city parks, in front of businesses. We need to enforce, no urban camping. But conversely, we need to do a better job opening up safe ground places where people can camp. Affordable places that are cost effective. Are we spending our dollars efficiently? Our problems are this high. Our amount of money we have is only this high. We get roughly $25 million a year in state money.
We cannot just continue to say to people not here without being clear about where they can go. And shutting down Camp Resolution is just another example of us not being really clear about what are the humane places that we should be setting up all over the place that allow people to have somewhere to go and allow them to meet their basic needs and also are able to meet the needs of the surrounding community. We need everybody to be clear on what the goal is, what their role is in it. And the city cannot own this by themselves.
Now tonight, many Camp Resolution residents are still looking for places to live, saying the shelter option offered to them is not an option for them. Sacramento City contractors say since Monday's camp clearing, they removed more than 92,000 pounds of items and 1,150 needles.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. Tonight, there is a bill moving through the legislature that could create regulations about how artificial intelligence is developed and used in California. Senate Bill 1047, introduced by Senator Scott Wiener, would require developers of powerful AI tools to test whether they can enable harmful attacks. AI developers would also need to implement methods to complete a full shutdown of the models if things go wrong, and the bill would also give the Attorney General the power to sue developers if they are not in compliance and would provide protections to whistleblowers. While Meta has come out publicly saying they don't support the bill, Elon Musk on X Monday voiced his support.
Elon Musk has for a very long time expressed concern about AI safety. And so even though I'm no Elon Musk fan, I'm appreciative that he had the consistency to support this bill.
And the bill just passed the assembly tonight. It will need to be passed by the legislature and sent to the governor's desk by this Saturday. The governor would then have until September 30th to sign or veto it. In other news tonight, a search is underway for a missing Sacramento woman who was last seen camping near the Yuba River. 24-year-old Esmeralda Pineda was last seen on Monday morning near the middle fork of the Yuba River and Sweetland Creek in Nevada City. Deputies say she is considered at risk and could be trying to return to the Sacramento area. She was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, floral leggings, and tennis shoes. And if you have any information, please call the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. A former Sacramento teacher who murdered his wife nearly 30 years ago is now out of prison and under parole supervision. In 1999, former McClatchy High School teacher Robert Castorena pleaded no contest to second-degree murder by reason of insanity. He was sent to a state hospital for up to a life term, but was eventually granted parole back in March. Castorena's son says that he didn't see documents, transcripts, or receive contact from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, warning him of his father's impending release. He spoke to us, asking us not to show his identity.
It's pretty enraging. It feels like the system failed us. He's going to be free, and that just seems so wrong, like on so many levels.
ABC 10 reached out to the CDCR. They say the Board of Parole and the governor reviewed the decision, and the governor allowed it to stand. Tonight, a major arrest and a gift card scam. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office say that they arrested a man from China during the sting operation. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us from the Sheriff's Office. And Roxanne, I got to ask you, how does this affect people who use gift cards?
Alex, the worst part about this crime is the person who is being victimized, and that's because officials say that it's generally difficult for a person to report the crime. More than 6,500 gift cards from various stores were recovered by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office on Saturday. They arrested the man you see here, Yuba County. Detectives say they found the gift cards in his car. The potential loss was anywhere between $40,000 and $3.1 million. The suspect was inside the Target on Madison Avenue when they say they saw him remove a large number of gift cards from a wall and then replace them. Detectives say it was the same scenario as they saw in December during Operation Bad Elf. Deputies arrested another man after they watched him switch out real gift cards with tampered gift cards. And in this case, detectives say this suspect has no connections or family in the United States. They believe he's run this scam all over the West Coast since he arrived in November, and he now faces charges related to organized retail theft conspiracy and theft from a common access card.
Organized crime that's predominantly based out of mainland China. These are major groups who have essentially an unlimited budget.
Detectives say the best way to protect yourself is to purchase gift cards online, or you can purchase some that are locked up or that people have behind the counter. In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
All right, Roxanne, thank you. Still ahead onto the point, a monumental moment in the Klamath Dam removal. After more than a century, fish are swimming freely.
Highs today hitting near 100 for many places throughout the valley. Just a hint of an onshore flow tonight. How long it will continue.
And later, another upset for homeowners. The latest insurance company ending their fire insurance coverage in California. A heads up for those living in Stockton, do not be alarmed if you see pink or purple in the waterfront. The Department of Water Resources is studying algae in the water, and this is a non-harmful dye that helps scientists monitor the flow and how the San Joaquin River and McCloud Lake interact. The goal is to figure out what the causes are of the harmful blooms, and the first study will be completed by Friday. A second study will happen early next year. And Monica, a lot of people could actually be heading to the water as we get into the holiday weekend. No surprise there.
I know, and we're going to see some needed relief too, especially with this heat that we're dealing with. It's going to hang on just a little bit longer. In fact, we're going to be near 100 through the end of the week. We also have some air quality issues, smoke and haze kind of moving in throughout the region. Near 100-degree heat hanging on, like I said, through the end of the week with moderate heat risk, and the wildfire smoke and ozone may cause some issues for folks that have some respiratory issues. We have a little trickle of an onshore flow for tonight, better than what we saw last night at this time. So our hourly temperatures cooling to near 60 tomorrow morning. We'll continue to see the hazy sunshine mainly in the morning. We start to see a little better clearing during the afternoon, but our air quality for tomorrow for Placer, San Joaquin, and Stanislaus counties, unhealthy for sensitive groups. Looking at that heat risk, like I said, in play through Friday, kind of sprinkled throughout the valley. A little better relief coming our way by the middle and end of the holiday weekend as this weather feature starts to approach the coast. That brings back that onshore flow, a little breezy from time to time, especially near the Delta by Sunday into Monday. Highs in the 80s tomorrow for the Sierra, with 80s and 90s through the foothills, with highs close to 70 along the coast. We head inland, Fairfield, 88 tomorrow afternoon. Not too bad. That's the evidence of that onshore flow. Now, it doesn't make its impact widely known because you can see the temperatures are in the 90s to near 100 still throughout the Central Valley. 5-day regional forecast. We're dry through the holiday weekend for the mountains and the foothills, with cooler weather Sunday into Monday. Stable conditions along the coast. Highs will stay near 70. Highs in the upper 90s to near 100 through Friday. Still mid 90s on Saturday before we see the cooler weather arrive for the holiday weekend.
Next, on To the Point, the home insurance crisis, the latest company to stop renewing fire insurance policies here in California. Plus, keeping the Nuts in Modesto, the new agreement allowing the team to continue playing ball.
On down to Klamath! Bring the salmon home! Woo!
A monumental moment at the world's largest dam removals project. After more than 100 years, fish can now swim up the Klamath River. Construction crews broke through the fourth and final dam this morning, opening more than 400 miles of native fish habitat. And this is a big win for the Native American tribes who spent the past 20 years getting federal and state approval to remove 4 obsolete hydroelectric dams that were in Oregon and California.
We have a future. The river has reconnected itself, and that means we are on the path to rebuilding ecological resiliency, which can help support all of the communities along the Klamath Basin.
Restoration crews will spend the next 5 to 10 years planting native plants in the areas where the reservoirs once were. And to learn more about this historic project, make sure that you watch part 1 and part 2 of ABC 10's investigation on the Klamath Dam removals on our ABC 10 Plus app. And tonight, in the home insurance crisis, Liberty Mutual Fire Insurance Company is stopping their fire insurance coverage here in California. The company says that they will not renew an estimated 17,000 customers. And Suzanne Fawn explains what this means for your bottom line.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Larry Langford of West Sacramento is losing his home insurance in about 2 weeks. Liberty Mutual Insurance decided not to renew Langford's policy. Why? It has nothing to do with wildfire risks. Instead, it's because
I had a debris splattered yard, as well as having oak trees on, over, or in connection with my house.
That's an entirely different reason than why Liberty Mutual is not renewing the policy of 17,000 California policyholders. According to a Liberty Mutual Group spokesman, those non-renewals of dwelling fire policies began last fall. The company explained that it's, quote, retiring the antiquated technology it uses to manage the dwelling fire policies.
And that's going to be a very hard message for consumers to understand. All they know is I'm losing my insurance, and I didn't do anything wrong.
In a statement, Liberty Mutual said, quote, the decision to stop writing this product line is not specific to California and not related to fire risk. Critics say more insurance companies seem to be looking for any excuse to drop policyholders.
It just saddens me that these companies are just fleeing from California for different reasons.
This is all about business for them.
Amy Bach is a homeowner insurance consumer advocate and executive director of United Policyholders. She said the Department of Insurance struck a deal with insurance companies. Companies can use new technology to determine the fire risk of homes. Insurance companies can then set rates based upon that information.
The new technology that insurance companies are using, those aerial drones, the aerial images that drones are giving them, AI, data mining, risk scoring systems. Insurers are making business decisions because they are for-profit companies.
Bach says if you lose your insurance,
getting informed is number one. Understanding, that you have 75 days from the time your insurer, tells you they're non-renewing to find a new policy.
And you can always reach out to us if you have any questions. Baseball fans in Modesto are breathing a sigh of relief tonight, but there's still uncertainty in the future. You may remember back in July, the Nuts announced that this season would be their last season at Modesto's John Thurman Field after negotiations between the team and the city to renew the contract fell through. Well, after that announcement, city officials say the team came back to the negotiating table and worked through a one-year extension. The short-term contract expires October 1st, 2025. The Nuts will have to pay the city $525,000 and make $75,000 in improvements to the ballpark within the next year.
We'll see what the next year brings, but those negotiations will be ongoing, and we look forward to the future with the Nuts.
A stipulation in the contract prohibits the Nuts from entering talks with any other city or entity in Stanislaus County. The Nuts are wrapping up their 2024 season this weekend with games in Southern California. And your voice, your vote. Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz are on a bus tour through rural Georgia, while former President Donald Trump and Senator J.D. Vance have a jam-packed schedule in several swing states. But a new indictment against Trump may complicate his schedule. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris and running mate Governor Tim Walz kicking off their two-day campaign blitz across the key battleground state of Georgia.
People tell me, look, I'm really not that into politics. My response to that is too damn bad. Politics is into you.
Harris's visit to the Peach State marks her first time on the campaign trail since the Democratic National Convention ended last week. Today, the duo setting out on a bus tour through several southern counties in a critical state President Biden narrowly won in 2020. The Harris-Walz ticket fighting to do it again.
We'll have your back just like you've had ours.
Harris's campaign touting continued momentum with more than 35,000 new volunteers in the state. This as former President Donald Trump reshapes his race against Harris, hitting several must-win states this week, including Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. His VP picked Senator J.D. Vance in Michigan today, bashing Harris on the economy.
Under Kamala Harris's policies, in Pennsylvania, the average worker's wages have gone down by 6%.
This as Trump faces a newly revised federal indictment over his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. Special counsel Jack Smith again charging the former president adjusting to the Supreme Court's ruling that granted broad presidential immunity. Smith keeping the same 4 counts against Trump, including conspiracy to defraud the United States and to obstruct the certification of electoral votes. The difference is these charges now only relate to Trump's alleged actions as a private citizen and political candidate, rather than a sitting president. Trump on social media calling the new indictment a direct assault on democracy. And Vice President Kamala Harris is set to give her first national interview as a presidential candidate this week. It's scheduled to be a joint appearance alongside her VP pick, Governor Walz. Still ahead, on To the Point, a Yuba County cold case mystery. In the 1970s, 5 men from Yuba County went missing in the Plumas National Forest, and they are known as the Yuba County 5, and their case largely remains a mystery. Ted Weir, Jackie Hewitt, Bill Sterling, Jack Madruga, and Gary Mathias lived with intellectual disabilities. They met in the 70s on a basketball team, and on February 24, 1978, they disappeared after watching a college basketball game in Chico. The car that they were driving was found in the snow in the opposite direction of home. home. 4 of the boys' bodies were found months later, seemingly in the middle of nowhere. And to this day, Gary Mathias has not been found.
They would have come straight home from the basketball game in Chico. And there's so many things that that they had to have been made to do whatever, they ain't gonna make me walk 12 miles in the snow with just tennis shoes or whatever and a shirt, unless you got a big old gun, or something.
Why were they up there? And like he's saying, somebody made them, and maybe not so much made them, might have promised them something.
Coming up tomorrow on To The Point at 6:30, we will introduce you to the boys' families and the investigator that continues to look into this cold case. Again, that's tomorrow right here at 6:30 on To The Point. As always, thank you so much for watching and for inviting us into your home. If you have something that you think we should be looking into, including all your election questions, make sure that you send them to us. And remember, strangers are just people we haven't gotten the chance to meet yet. So take the time to get to know someone. Have a great night, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.